Commercial banks in this country are often criticized for what's described by some as exorbitant bank fees and charges. But according to Group CEO of the First Citizens Bank, those are several factors that determine the various fees tagged onto some of the services offered by banks. Karen Darbesi made the point as executive members of FCB and Republic Bank Limited sat before a joint select committee of Parliament. Janine Brown reports.
First Citizens Bank has not actually increased fees since 2015. She said additional fees that have been imposed since then were actually as a result of brand new services being introduced to the bank.
So we saw at that point in time requests from customers for different currency accounts. So we saw requests for Canadian accounts and Euro accounts, etc. And we brought fees for those accounts in line with fees that already existed for US dollar accounts.
Vice Chairman of the JSC, Mr. Michael Coppin, expressed that other charges were so extreme. According to the group's CEO, while the concept of charges may seem simplistic to the general public, it is based on the work necessary for the service to be provided. She spoke specifically on the charge for closing down an account.
Really what we're trying to prevent is people opening an account and not using it and then closing it prematurely. The bank invests a lot of time and effort in due diligence for opening accounts. And once the account is open, we have an annual requirement as part of the Know Your Customer to maintain up-to-date documentation and to store those documents. So the charge is meant to be a recovery cost of the opening of the account charge as opposed to a cost to close the account.
And on the topic of bank statements, which is tagged at $25 per copy, she said there are other alternatives to paying this fee.
Statement of accounts are available online, free of charge, that you can print and download yourself. I mean, First Citizens made a conscious decision as part of our promotion of trying to be environmentally friendly to make all statements available online.
She reiterated that there are several services offered by the banks that are completely free, but added perhaps the bank needs to do more to educate and communicate with the public to make citizens more aware of what is available. Janine Brown, C News.
Commercial banks say they have put mechanisms in place to offset the risk associated with credit cards. And they do not come at the expense of the average customer. In a joint select committee meeting of Parliament on Friday, Group CEO of the First Citizens Bank, Karen Darbesi, gave a rollout of the present reality as it relates to credit card delinquency.
Credit card delinquency increasing. Of course, we are seeing increases in people extending payment terms. I think that is something that is across the society. Have we increased credit card charges? No, we've not.
The pronouncement by the First Citizens Group CEO prompted a JSC member Clarence Rambarat to question whether banks are not imposing greater charges to offset the risk from credit cards. But Republic Bank President Nigel Batiste intervened, saying there is no correlation between the two. He explained how the banks are able to offset this risk.
I think the correlation, if there is any, is between the delinquency, the risk associated with the fact that they are unsecured, which is what resulted in the delinquency, and the interest rate on the credit cards. And the fourth variable in that correlation is what Karen just explained in terms of the interest-free period with the cards.
There are two fees attached to credit card accounts, a membership fee and a merchant fee, the latter of which, according to the RBL president, was reduced in the last 5 years. According to officials of First Citizens Bank and Republic Bank Limited, Saturday banking is not on the cards, at least not anytime in the near future. The question was raised before a joint select committee of Parliament on Friday by member Dr. Lovell Francis as a way to improve efficiency. But according to the First Citizens Group CEO, making the move to implement weekend banking is not exactly simple.
Saturday morning banking and off-hour banking requires negotiations with our staff and with our unions, and that is the most straightforward answer I can give you. And I think what we are all legitimately trying to do is to provide the services that you want to get online so that you don't need to go into a bank.
The president of RBL also shared this view, as he said his bank has actually tried delivering the service in the past.
Okay, we've done Saturday banking as an experiment. We've done Saturday banking as an initiative during certain periods because we felt it would actually enable our clients, it would improve our goal of convenience and accessibility. And on every occasion that we have done it, we have been disappointed with the results.